together, and said, I think I've got a way to put this into a thing that makes sense to me. That when you have interference, what ends up happening, you get a corrupted muscle response pattern or a substitutionary muscle response pattern. That's what I think we're seeing when I swing one leg out here, and it works just fine, and I swing the other one out, and the brain rotates the pelvis, or lifts the leg, or does something different trying to replicate it. It's doing the best it can with what it has, but neurologically it's not the same, all right? And so the patterns that develop very often are this reciprocal dysfunction. I've got a bad shoulder. What happened to it? I don't know. It's just always been bad. Huh. Okay. And then you find out, oh, well, I sprained my ankle, or I've got a chronic knee problem on the opposite side. Can't think of the guy's name right now. There was a pitcher for the Atlanta Braves that at one point was like my poster child for this, because we looked at all of his injury patterns. And it started with like a knee problem, and then it was a low back problem, and then it was a shoulder problem, and then he had this, and then he had that, and it was like, yeah, because for me, if you don't go to the baseline first and go, is the nervous system balanced, you don't know what else is going on. You presume it, right? Okay, so here are the implications, and I'll do it real quick because I'm running over. This is about head position. I didn't make this stuff up about rotating the head and changing the neurology. The researchers that say, yeah, that really happens. The nice thing with research is they're in a lab, they're not in a clinic. So they go, this is really interesting. More research is needed. I need another grant, right? For me as a clinician, I'm going, that explains part of the process, right? When you have to turn your head, you change the neurology of your body anyway. If you have nerve interference on top of it, buena suerte. Good luck to you. Because your brain is going to try and do the best it can. So, I'm not in baseball, but if I had a batter that was in a slump, and I'm watching, and he's missing the ball like this, or this, and it's like, dude, he's just guessing. He's just swinging and hoping the pitcher's going to hit the bat with the ball, right? I don't know how to do that. I just go, hey, let me just get you to lay down here for just a second. I'm going to dorsiflex your ankles. And if there's asymmetry, even if you don't want to get into the arms and legs thing, but you go, I don't know, maybe, just have him move his head. Just say, hey, tell you what, rotate your head to the left, rotate it to the right. If they move their head and dorsiflexion changes, it's a neurological issue that you have to contend with somehow. Discount it or manage it, one or the other, okay? And so this was the information about the elbows. I didn't make it up. I read it and I'm telling you, okay? And again, very little in baseball is done with your head straight ahead, right? Once the ball's in play, things start moving, okay? And same thing with pitching. When you start this way and you end up this way, even if your head didn't move, everybody under it did, right? It changes how the body works neurologically, okay? And every once in a while, there are mechanisms of injury, right? Non-collision sport, okay? Handstands if you want to afterwards, all that stuff, right? The thing that ends up happening is this. What they're finding more and more is after that impact, neck position sense decreases. You can do Ravel's test with it, laser on the head, check for the target and all that stuff. It decreases after impact. If the neck position sense drops, guess what happens to the proprioceptive ability of where the elbows are? It gets even worse, okay? So, post-impact, there's some articles about it that say you really ought to look into it, all right? And then neuroplasticity and task specificity, almost the last article. This was done for batting, and they were doing visual training. And I looked at the whole article and I went, never in it did it say what position is the head in when you're doing the training. If you're looking straight at something and you're doing reaction time with visual stuff, that means you would be hitting the ball that way. Doesn't happen, right? So technically, if you really want to train the body to do that, you take a right-handed batter and you get them like this, And now you have them do the response in that position, because that's the position that the neurology is going to be in when he has to use that reflex, okay? All right, that's what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying, okay? Practical demonstration I already did. It's always after the history, all that stuff. Joint stability, yes. You have to check all that stuff because you're using long levers to see what happens, all right? But what we do is recommend that it's included in a pre-treatment assessment. It's not throw everything else out you do, just throw this in, it doesn't take that long, right? And then, more importantly for me, is post-treatment assessment. After you get them up, walk them around, have them do a push-up because that engages everything, loads the whole system up. If you lay them back on a table for a split second and you do forced dorsiflexion and it matches, high level of confidence you balance the nervous system. If it doesn't balance, high level of confidence the nervous system isn't balanced. And when they walk out the door, mechanically they will start patterning back neurological imbalance into the system, okay? All right, so I won't go into all this because we won't get there. Chiropractors deal with this all the time. I've got some articles. If Mark wants them for sending out to everybody, I can. It's just science that says chiropractors are looking at the same thing, sensory motor problems, and sensory motor disintegration is what we call it in the neuroscience area, okay? Oh, yeah, and one thing here, real quick. What they found is a lot of times when we adjust the cervical area, the frontal cortex, the area of integration, gets excited, more excited, enhanced for 20 to 30 minutes after the adjustment. So at school, what we do is we adjust people, and then we do rehab with them. We adjust them, then they can go practice, then they can go train, then they can do those things. Because we think we've opened up a 20 to 30 minute window where the brain will integrate the neuroplasticity and task specificity at a higher level. Don't know that it's true. It's my extrapolation of what the research says, okay? And blah, 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 blah. Parting thought. You can't change the problems you have now at the same level of thinking you used to get there, right? So if you got an athlete that's hit a plateau and everything you know that should be helping that athlete isn't doing what you know it should, I'll go, tell you what, just for kicks and giggles, lay them down supine, dorsiflex their ankles, and see if they're the same. And if they aren't, you don't have to tell them anything else, just have them move their head. If they move their head and it bounces, now you've got a question you got to answer. Is it real? And if it is, what am I going to do with it to fix it? Okay? All right. Thank you for your attention. I'm sorry I ran over.